What is going on, everybody, man? Thank you guys for tuning in to the National Caveman Podcast with me, Rainbow Unleashed, and my buddy, my friend, man, my partner in crime, Sky Black.
What's going on, everybody? First of all, thank God for waking me up this morning. Thank God for episode 3, man. I am so elated because this is something I've been wanting to do, but I could never find nobody like you who was passionate about doing it and having the time to actually do it. Because of you sitting over here, my new microphone that came in, my new camera has came in. I got the whole setup, and so man, I'm just hoping people are enjoying our content, learning from it, and best part of all, sharing it with others.
Most definitely, man. If you guys come in, please hit the like button. It doesn't hurt you, man. Please hit the share button. We appreciate you can help support somebody just doing the littlest minute things
That's
like
it.
hitting like sharing. So if you come in, share with your friends, share with your family. Even we would like to hear from you guys also. So if you're in the chat, leave a comment. We would like to hear your opinion on our topic matter. And we also want to plug in. You got two websites that plug in. So go ahead and let them know the websites and what can they find when they get there.
Okay, so offtoprecords.net is sort of like my iTunes. It's my streaming service where I take artists' music and put it up for people to stream. I know it's sometimes easy to go to iTunes and CD Baby and all these people, but they take a lot of your money, independent artists. They really do. They take a lot of your money. Me, all you have to do is just have a publisher. If you don't have a publisher, I can be your publisher. Put you on there, and you get your money every time you sell a song at 99 cents, $1.10, whatever it is you're trying to do. On the other hand, is Off Top Radio, my own independent online radio. I'm a former DJ out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm a former TV producer out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I had the same TV show that I produced in Nashville, Tennessee. So with the Off Top Radio right now, we're online, and eventually we're going to go back into the cars, and then eventually we're going to get a blanket license from BMI and ASCAP to start paying artists royalties for their music. But this is only for independent and up and coming artists. If you are like a jelly roll or somebody, I don't. Congratulations to you. You've made your money. You've gotten where you want to go. My job is to help those get past what we call gatekeepers and red tape to get you where you want to go. So if you need to hit me up, man, it is sky.black at gmail.com, and I need more information.
You know what, Sky, man? One of these days, man, we're definitely going to have to do a show
Yeah,
with information to help artists because you and I have a lot of experience and knowledge when it comes to music. Probably even more than me when it comes to paperwork. And there's a lot of ways you probably absolutely can help other artists. So um, I appreciate you plugging that in. You guys, man, if you got time, we all got time in a day. It's so many seconds in the day. Take the
yes, it is.
time and go visit both websites. You can see them on the screen right now. Also, if you would like to advertise with us, you can see the ticker rolling across the screen. Email me at soldrivenllc at gmail.com. If you want to get in contact with me, we are selling 30-day advertisement for $10. You cannot beat that anywhere. So if you get a chance, email me, take the time, email me, reach out. I would love to connect to you, man. Love to promote you on the Nashville Caveman Podcast. Now, this week, I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Y'all, my birthday is this week, this Thursday.
That's what's up.
Climbing up the mountain. I'm going to be 48 years old, man. And I
No, no,
feel
no, no,
every nick
no.
of it.
You'll be 48 years young.
Yeah, years young.
Yes.
Years young. But, man, I'm be honest with y'all. It's some stuff that I wish that I missed doing in my 20s that I wish I could do in my 40s.
And
Y'all know what I mean if y'all around this age bracket. But I had a good weekend. I love the NFL games was very interesting. Both of my teams won, so I was happy. I was happy to see my teams win.
congrats on that. Yeah. Well, you had a better weekend than I did because all my sports teams are in Colorado. So you know about the Deion Sanders thing. You know, I
Oh,
wanted to do a podcast about that because I've been a Colorado fan since 1990. So it's like now everybody's joining the bandwagon on Colorado Buffaloes, like because of Deion Sanders. And I'm thinking, okay, that's cool, but that's for another show. And then my Denver Broncos that lost to the Miami Dolphins 70-20. Like, did the starters play or did y'all just play the practice squad people? Like, what happened? But when I went back to watch the highlights, Damo, it was a lot of turnovers. We had 5.
yeah.
We had 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions, and the Dolphins capitalized on all 5 turnovers, and that's how you get
Man,
the
it
70.
looked like y'all was playing Matador defense.
What you
On
say?
the land, then as soon as they come charge, you get out the way.
but again, shout outs to the Miami Dolphins, man. They got what they wanted. They got their team together. They got 3 track star receivers on that side. I ain't seen a receiver group like that since Warren Moon and the Houston Oilers back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
team. He had 4 all pro wide receivers on that Houston Oilers team. You know what I'm saying? Miami got 3 top track. I mean, when they did the 40s in the combine, I'm talking about 4.2, 4.1, all that. Them boys ain't nothing to play with over there in Miami.
Man, you know what? Everybody scored during that game.
Everybody,
Cheerleader.
both running backs scored 4 touchdowns. You know that, right? Both.
Water Boy scored. The Water Boy mascot.
Yeah.
Too.
And, you know, the last time 2 running backs scored 4 touchdowns in a game was in Kansas City back in the middle 90s. Kansas City had 2 running backs. Both of them scored 4 touchdowns in one game. And then the Dolphins did it Sunday.
Man, that's crazy. And my team, well, one of my teams is the Indianapolis Colts. And so our kicker broke a record kicking 4 goals. It made me go back and think about Scott Norwood when he missed that 47-yard kick. And now you look at these guys now and they easily making 50-yard field goals. That's crazy.
Well, it's making you wonder, is this like God natural or are they juicing too?
Yeah, if they on that stuff, you're right. Because these athletes on something. I mean, what coming up?
In the 90s, there's no way Don Shula and them would be going for no 50, 60-yard field goal.
Right.
They're not doing that. They're not doing that. I mean, anything over 40 was iffy. It had to be under 40. But if they do it now, since that guy from Baltimore hit that 66, it's game. It's fair game now.
And you think of how fast they recover from injuries. You know, stuff used to ruin people's career. Now they come back. You know, look at AP. AP had an injury that would normally retire most people, and he came back in about a year.
Yep. Came back and almost broke Eric Dickerson's rushing record.
Wow.
So
yeah, you're right. It makes you wonder. You know what? I wanted to go ahead and get into this. The show topic today.
Sure.
And this is something I really want to talk about, man. Is sex the most powerful drug on the planet? And me and Sky, before we started this show, we were talking about in the last couple of weeks with these celebrities, man, celebrities that been together for years. There's all of a sudden, man, their marriages and relationships are falling apart, right? So we got Remy Ma and, Papoose. We got Jeezy and his wife. Did you see that Anthony Anderson? He got a divorce and now he's ordered to pay $20,000 in spousal support per month.
Is that just spousal? What about child support? Have any children?
They haven't even mentioned that part of it, but I know that spousal support part came out.
Hey, you know Kevin Costner's divorce is ugly too. I don't know if you've been keeping up with that.
No, I've heard he got divorced, but I didn't know the terms or what was going on with it.
That woman was asking for $60,000 to $80,000 a month. Her lawyer went up to $100-something thousand a month for child support because they have 3 kids. And
oh man,
She was so greedy that the judge took her down to 30 grand a month. That's how greedy the judge was like, you just being greedy. That's what you're doing. Because he started Yellowstone, and it was just a huge popular show on Netflix. And then he also get back in royalties. So all she see is money.
Right.
And so, it just gotten ugly, man. I mean, it's not even probably about the kids or the family no more. It's just about those dollar signs.
Yeah. And that's what, man, the reason why I asked the question. Because I think a lot of these relationships aren't built on love.
No.
They're built on lust. I think more people are in lust and not in love.
I can honestly agree. Lust and a little bit of stability will probably get you whoever you want. I was watching a guy's YouTube, and he's like, you take a guy, a geek, a nerd, with about $30,000 in their savings account and making good money, he can go out here and pull any girl he wants to now. Back in the day, they couldn't get the supermodels or the beautiful women or the dime pieces. Now, with the economy the way they are, when you see beautiful women working in warehouses, when you see them on TikTok crying about bills, here you go. You can go get whatever you want. So you're right. When lust, and for me, lust and a little bit of money, you're right. We'll get you what you're looking for.
And you really think about it, the access that we have to each other now. Before, a lot of these, you see these models or women that you can throw into the category of a possible model or, as beautiful as a model. We didn't have access to them as easily way back. If you didn't know them or know somebody who knew them and weren't introduced, you didn't know them. Now, you can just reach out over the internet and interact with them.
That is absolutely correct. That is correct. So with that being said, I don't know if people still look at marriage, and even people that's not married, because here in Tennessee, you stay together long enough, they have what they call common law marriage. Y'all been dwelling together for over 7 years. Is people still willing to date each other? Like Damon, do you and your wife, do y'all still date each other like y'all was doing before y'all got married?
Oh yeah, we definitely go on dates. Yes. And it's traditional also. I've when we go out somewhere, I open the door. They'll stand there. They won't touch the door handle. Right. They'll stand off to the side. I'll walk up, open the door for them. You don't see that anymore.
Chivalry, you right.
And think about this too. Man, people when they get together, they don't get together to know each other long. Most people get physically connected fast, and then as far as like them actually educating and on themselves on the other person or getting to know that other person, that comes somewhere down the line.
That's right.
But then you think about this. Think about how many people I was I was explaining this to my oldest daughter. I was like, you know what? The issue is a lot of females, they'll meet a guy and a woman to meet, they have intercourse really fast.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship end, they jump into another relationship, and then they have intercourse with that person, and the window is so close that a lot of times, the first dude or the second dude think he's a father, and she was already pregnant.
Hey, that's a TV show right there. All the TV shows we watching in the 90s with the Jerry Springers, there you go. That's how it gets started, just like that.
Yeah, because the window, think about how most people jump from one relationship to another relationship. Mm-hmm. And then there is no timetable a lot of times for sex. Like some females will be like, well, if we go on 5 dates, then maybe on the 6th day date, I'll go ahead and have intercourse with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't make the other people wait.
No. But it goes back to, I don't know about you, but in my era, right? When I was dating back in the day, young in high school, if you didn't kiss the girl on the 3rd date, something was wrong with you.
Yeah.
So now, what you're saying now, having sex on the 6th date, I get it. But back then, y'all on date number 3 and he didn't try to kiss you or make a move. Like, hold on, man. I only know you for 3 days. Why am I trying to get to first base? Is what we called it back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like if you ain't gotten to home in a few weeks, something's wrong with you.
Exactly. And think about this. If you don't have a kid, if you're a male or a female, if you don't have a kid by a certain age, something's wrong with you. Oh,
Right.
he the 3-letter word. We see that all the time. Oh, you must be the 3-letter
Mhm.
word. If you ain't
Mhm.
got no kids, what's going on? You impotent? What?
Well, to me, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, everybody ain't meant to be parents.
Right.
Some people, it's just not in them to be parents. And those I can understand. You protected yourself. You don't mind dying, not having an offspring. But
Right.
then there's those that know they're not supposed to be parents that are putting 10 kids into this world.
Right. Which, and which is posed the question, is it the most powerful drug on the planet? So what I did is I wrote a list, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I made a comparison between sex and drugs.
Gotcha.
And I wanted to compare the two.
Okay.
And here's what I came up with. Both are highly addictive.
Right.
Both can be sold legally and illegally.
Right.
Both can do physical and mental damage.
Mm-hmm.
They're both legally and illegally profitable.
Mm-hmm.
They both can lead to the destruction of family. They can both be good and bad for you. They're both easily accessible. And they both impact people of all ages.
All ages, all race, all ethnicities, everybody is absolutely correct. So then go back to the origin of it. So because I've had conversations with folks about things like this, and to me, I said, "What is it genetic? Is because you have some men who are just addicted to sex, and women too. Is that genetics, or is just something that they picked up in the household, or they watching a cartoon? And I'm like, I don't know where that comes from people who tell me, "Hey, I'm having sex 5 times a day." Like, really? And then you have folks that just like, hell, if I have sex once a year, I'm good. I've always tried to figure out what is the difference. Is it the community? Is it what they believe in? Or is it how God made them? Like, what makes one person addicted to sex and then somebody else is like, you know what, I've tried sex, I don't care about it.
Well, way back, men will go out and they will conquer. As the old saying goes, to the victim goes the spoils.
Right.
So a lot of women would stay home, and when the planet was lowly populated, the men would go out in war, and they would some of that victor or some of that spoil would be other women.
Right.
And so men, our purpose is to populate. We will
Gotcha.
go on and just populate over and over.
Okay.
Fast forward now, I think you see a lot of, because society has changed and we're now more into a modern society, you see more women taking on the, what men are. So women have taken over that role. They're doing what men do.
Right.
Problem is, though, is that the consequences from a woman doing that totally different than when a man do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if a man go out and he just go out and he lay a seed all over the place, the only person that know, absolutely whose baby that really is would be who?
Probably the mother.
The mom. The father wouldn't
Right.
know. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And so when women do it and they let a lot of dudes and it's a multiple of men and they don't know, that's a problem. And
Well,
I was looking up some stuff, looking up some numbers, right?
Mhm.
Did y'all know it's almost 1,300, it's over 1,300 sex therapist businesses in the country.
Ooh. Ooh.
And that's
Dr.
increased 5% from 2022 to 2023 to this year.
Right. Growing up, we you remember that old lady, Dr. Ruth, the sex therapist?
Oh, of course. Everybody knew Dr. Ruth.
Oh, Dr. Ruth. Well, Dr. Ruth, bless her heart if she's still alive. And then she has 1,300 competitions. Okay, gotcha.
Man, you know how many, like, and she made a career out of that. Think about that time. You know, and even then, I joke with people and I tell my friends all the time, when I was young, when I was, you know, before my preteens, I had access to VHS tapes of porn. Think about how big the porn industry is. And there are children. Because I was one of them kids sitting there watching it googly-eyed, not understanding what the hell was going on. But I knew that I was, you know, I knew it was that, but I didn't know what was what.
I understand, right. And you know what, back in those days, you know, your father might have been hiding the dirty magazines under the mattress or in the closet.
And that's where we found them at.
Or you playing hide and seek and you accidentally found that VHS and like, there's no name on this. Or you know how you would write the name of the movie on the side or whatever and you stick it in. Now, these kids are like 7 or 8 years old with smartphones.
Oh, how yeah.
Your children is watching.
Think about
this. It's addictive. It can start at an early age because now these kids got these iPhones, these 15 Pros titanium, and all they got to do is click a link here or there, and here they are, 10, 11 years old, maybe even younger, watching this. They're not telling their parents. They're probably telling their friends at school. So there you go.
And you know what? Which isn't shocking when you hear numbers like they're annually they think that they're between 1 to 2 million or billion sex workers in the country. Now that's a lot.
That's a lot.
And a matter of fact, I found this, you know, 7 of 8 cities profiled from the government, the industry was estimated to be worth between 40 to 290 million. That's only 7 to 8 cities.
Yep.
You know, and you think about, I was looking up and I wanted to find out the estimation of children that actually deal with molestation, man. You know, and I think the biggest thing from that, and that goes on in single parent homes for the most part, because, and it makes sense. Mom at work, mom got to go ahead and take the child over to her mom's house, who probably got an uncle or a cousin or somebody staying there, and they're watching the kid. So you think of how many kids deal with this sexual assault, period. Sexual assault / rape.
That's right. What a world to live in, that you're in a house that you're supposed to be protected in, and that's where you're getting attacked at.
Exactly. And it was like, out of the females that are 16 to 19, they're 4 times as likely to be sexually assaulted. You know, and that's just wild, man.
that is wild, because you know, I've heard a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of women that has been raped or sexually assaulted, and it gets to the point where you get numb to it sometimes. Like, oh, okay, you've been sexually assaulted too, you know, like. But when does it get to the point where something can be done about this? I mean, is there anywhere that you teach these young girls, in especially public schools, to look for the signs of somebody that you think might be a creep?
Right.
Family or no family.
Right.
Yeah, because, you know, you said sex is addictive, drugs is addictive. When I was coming up, in the 8th grade, I had to go through a sex class. And then when I got to high school, I went through a sex class. But a class that I didn't go through was a drug class. So whether it was out in these streets type of drugs, or whether it was pharmaceutical type of drugs, High school didn't teach me nothing about that. So people my age, my generation coming out, the only way we knew about anything about sex and drugs is once we tried it. Then it's too late. You know,
Right.
it's too late. You know.
And you know what? I would love to do a poll to see, because I've seen these on social media where people will ask the questions, when did you lose your virginity?
Yep.
And I was seeing a lot of between the ages of 13 to 19.
Yep.
And there was a lot of 14, 15, that age range. And that's crazy, man.
Yep. Some of these girls with the old folks used to say hot in the pants, right? Hotter than July jam. Because by the time you turn 14, 15, then you're going through puberty. And that's when that body starts to talk to you. So, you know, it's like, and then sometimes when a girl tells me, well, I've been assaulted or I've been raped, you know, I try to, first of all, look at what you're wearing. Depending on, if you're 15 years old and you're dressing like you're 25 and you're showing this body part and that body part, it's like putting meat in front of a hungry dog.
Right.
I wouldn't blame the dog because it's hungry and it's coming after the meat if I'm sitting here waving it in his face. So a lot of them that I've talked to that have been molested, they didn't dress like Amish women.
Right.
Like how Amish women you talk to that's being molested? You know, they wear the long skirts and they're fully clothed, and you know what I'm saying? Right. So I've never talked to women who dress like the Golden Girls that's been molested. Now, not saying that none of them have, because nothing is 100%, but the majority of them dress like, you know, the Sexy Reds and the Cardi B's of the world that I know who has been molested or sexually assaulted at a young age.
They actually promote, you know, it's a lot of parents that actually, you're right, actually promote it, you know. And this to go back to this statistics, right? One in every 9 girls, like little girls under the age of 18, are molested, right? One in every 20 boys under 18 experience some kind of sexual assault or child molestation. And so you're right. You see some of the clothes that a lot of these parents, man, they sexualize their daughters. And not only with clothes, but just watch a lot of the dance moves.
Yeah. I was watching a TikTok on Instagram, and this little girl was 2 years old twerking, and her dad came and spanked her.
Yeah.
And the question was, did he have the right to do that? Hell yeah, he had the right to do that. This girl is 2 years old, and whatever she's watching on this TV, it didn't show what was on TV, but I'm sure some type of hip hop video, twerking, and here she is twerking at 2 years old. So no, and I'm glad he spanked her, and I'm glad that they'll be showing that there's a dad in the household, because back in the day, those dads had shotguns, and you weren't even getting close. You weren't even thinking about raping a girl that you know daddy kept a pistol in that house. But he didn't care about going to jail. He would be in jail, you would be in the ground. But like you said, with these single parent homes, where is that protector? Now people are like, I can just sneak in, do what I gotta do, and hell, if they take me to court, hell, that's 5-6 years down the line. Or if they treat me as a child molester, I'll do a couple of years in jail, go on the registry, I'll be okay. See, that's what we're missing, is things like that.
Right, because the question always is, you know, if you're at work, you know, if you're at work, who's watching the kid?
Right.
Who is watching? You know, according to the CDC, and I looked this stat up too, man, there was over 1,460,000 plus children born to unmarried women. That's too much.
Babies having babies. So back in the 80s, when I was coming along, they told me, hey, it's going to get to a point where babies are going to be having babies. So if you have a child at 15, by the time you 30, your child is 15, and then she has a child at 15. So by the time you 45, you're a grandmama. So this is what's going on. At 15, you're not even thinking about being married. At 15, you're not even out of high school. So you can't even protect yourself. You can't protect your child. So you don't know nothing about trying to find a man that's going to protect you, because whoever got you pregnant just got you pregnant and left. So now it's like bringing a fox in the hen house.
And when I ask females this, and I say, man, why can't y'all just make the guy, man, wait until he put a ring on your finger and just say, hey, man,
Correct.
we're not doing nothing sexually. I'm not doing nothing sexually until I'm married, until I have some kind of financial security.
Right.
And that is like pulling teeth when you talk to and you ask a lot of females that question. They make that like that's the hardest thing to do, you know? And it's bizarre because it's like, okay, a lot of them don't want to get married. And then a lot of them that do get married, do you know, I found a stat where it was talking about 70% of them, men, are the reason for divorce. So 70% of the divorces is because the females, and then 20 to 40% of that has to do with infidelity. So it's like, I don't get it.
I don't either, but I don't want to be on here being a hypocrite either because I remember coming up. I'm 17, my youngest brother is 15, and everybody else is below. So I'm the oldest, right? Everybody was talking about, man, we've had sex, we've done this, we've done that. Do you know that I was under peer pressure, not from them, but from myself, at 17 years old, to be going out here having sex? Because how did I look being the big brother, the older person, not have had sex? So my first sexual encounter was because I wanted to be in a conversation with a bunch of 15-year-old boys talking about having sex. So I can
I
understand.
think all of us, I think that's what all of us.
So when you ask that question, why don't they wait? Maybe some of it's just that peer pressure, or they want to be in the conversation, or sometimes it's just you don't want to be that outsider. But then you realize, oops, I didn't make a mistake. I should have stayed that outsider.
Right. Because, and the reason why I asked that question is because I think that affects more females. I mean, it affects men too, because once you have that baby, oh, it definitely affects us financially, but I think it has way more of an impact on females, and I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, y'all gotta worry about, and y'all don't want to have to carry the children,
Right.
not the men. So you guys, at least for 9 months, are stuck with the child, regardless.
Right.
First and foremost. Second of all, it's like if I had, say, if I came by and I had the world's juiciest, the best, good-looking hamburger you ever seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I took about a bite or two off of it, and
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Sky, would you like a bite of this?" What would you tell me?
For me, I'd be like, nah, because you already ate off of it.
Exactly. And I think a lot of females don't consider that.
Right.
Because we look at y'all the same way. Oh, no, somebody already bit off that apple.
Right.
When you come in with one or two kids, man, it's hard. It gets harder for y'all to have a relationship or even get married going further when you come. That's the baggage.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it would be equivalent to. Man, I'm coming to you and I done took bites out of this big old juicy burger, got the cheese and lettuce and bacon on it, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm waving in your face and you're like, ooh, that look good. And I say, oh, you want a bite? You ain't telling me, yeah.
Right. You're right. And I'm not against that neither. I'm not against folks saying, "Hey, let's take time to get to know each other. Let's wait until we get married. Let's wait till the ring on it." But man, the devil is working on this planet, and one of the avenues is that sex drive. We could write an article all day about sex and its addiction. Man, you have a 400,000 page book about that, man. I have no clue what it is about sex like that will hinder your life instead of help. If you with your husband and y'all want to start a family, then that's what it's about. But just to be out here sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, I don't know. That's kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, because, according to, the CDC, they was talking about annually about 2 million people, or 2 million sexually reported STD cases.
Mm.
Now think about that. So that means that, man, a lot of people out here not wearing no protection. Just this
I don't know
raw.
how, I don't know how condoms make any money. Do they even still make money?
Man, I'm trying to figure that out myself. Because I'm telling you, man, there are some dudes I know, and there are some dudes I know that'll stick their stuff in a porta potty, man, to get it off.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't lying, man. They will hump a porta potty to get it off. And then there's some females that they like a porta potty.
That's absolutely correct. I remember back in 2003, I was at FIST, just on the campus. And on their little bulletin board, I don't know who did it. Maybe it was somebody who just wanted folks to understand. Because I don't know if you've been to FIST, they have a co-ed dorm. Well, first of all, if you have a co-ed dorm, you just asking for trouble. To me, any university.
Oh, yeah. Any co-ed thing.
Yeah. Now, at MTSU, when I went to MTSU, they had a family dorm where you had to at least be married or you married with a child, but it wasn't co-ed. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of single people just in one thing. Well, they had this flyer that said that TSU, they said the CDC said TSU, 51% of those students tested positive for the virus in 2003.
What virus?
HIV.
Oh no! They had the boogeyman. Oh no! That's scary.
Students had tested positive for that virus back in 2003. I'll never forget it when I saw it.
Wow. And that's just that's crazy, man. And you asked the question, and I was sitting back here thinking about this the whole time. Why or how did it get to this point? I think it's because it's promoted.
Right.
It's promoted and it's pushed. It's pushed politically and socially.
Right.
With that whole saying that sex sells.
Mm-hmm.
And then, now they're pushing it on children right now. You see a lot of these children's books. Man, no way should you be learning about anything sex education-wise other than the basic, which should come from home. I don't think it should ever be discussed in school. It should always be discussed in home, first and foremost. And I think the parents that when you wait the longest to have that discussion with your kid, you ain't doing them no favors, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to learn a lot of stuff late. And then what I mean by that is even all the way down to the size of a condom. Most young men don't even understand that condoms come in different sizes. So if you are a certain size, right, and you put on some stuff that's real small, of course it's going to pop. Duh. It's just like if you put on a shoe, you get to running and the shoe too small, guess what's going to happen? Your foot going to bust out that shoe.
That's right.
It's the same thing.
But what if the shoe's too big? Then your foot slips out?
And it slide off. Exactly. So how many, I wish it was like a whole bunch of men, man. If y'all in the comments below, let me ask y'all. How many of y'all have, that y'all had a parent or y'all had somebody sit down, and I ain't talking about a sexual partner. I'm talking about somebody who's supposed to teach you about sex, sit down in front of you and teach you, hey nephew, hey son, hey grandson, if you're this size, you need to try these on and understand what your size is.
Correct.
Like when y'all get in these comments below, let me know, ladies, it's important for ladies to know. Ladies, did your mom teach y'all about that? Because a lot of them, they'll give y'all a condom and be like, well, make them put this on. But did you have a parent sit down with you and say, hey, he needs to know his size? Because if he don't, it's just like a shoe. If you put a shoe on, that shoe gonna slide off if it's too loose, or if it's too tight, it's gonna bust out of there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, with technology today, do you know they have female condoms now? Did you know that?
Man, they got female everything, which is shocking that, the pregnancy rate is, well, now it's down. It's going down now, and the reason why it's going down now is because of inflation. some of y'all kind of giving second thoughts. You know what I'm saying? When y'all see them gas prices and stuff, and then that formula, remember them issues they had with that formula?
Man, and you know how you go to the grocery store and usually every now and then certain things on sale. You go down
Right.
the baby aisle and that's never on sale. Never. Because the demand for that stuff will always be there. People will always be having babies. So you will never see a sale on that stuff.
And then some women just, their bodies don't produce not the natural ingredients for the baby for them to breastfeed. So they
Right.
just, and then you have some women that's just like, I ain't breastfeeding. I don't want my Tetons to be hanging on the floor and I'm tripping over them when I'm 30 years old,
Correct.
which is silly because I see 20-year-olds and they stuff almost where you can put it in the pocket already. So what's the point? Just get you a bra. If your stuff already falling down and you can put it in your pocket, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? Dudes, we don't care about that stuff. If you can sling them, we don't care.
I get you. I understand. I mean, in daycare, man. Oh wow. I mean, daycare. One child is like 2 to 250 a week.
Oh,
So,
oh no, it's more than that.
oh, is it more than that now?
Oh,
Oh
it's
wow.
more than that. And I can understand why these mothers don't want to be having kids as single moms. Because there was
Hmm.
a case not even long ago where there was one of the daycare workers that was spiking a little child's milk with NyQuil. Or not, it wasn't NyQuil. Let me take that back. It wasn't NyQuil, it was Benadryl.
Hmm.
Because they try to make them sleepy. So you ever heard that, man, where there will be mothers, man, and people that will put just a little bit of Benadryl in and this is not promoting this. I'm not telling y'all to do this. You know what I'm saying? PSA. Don't say it. Don't say it. But
Right.
yeah, mothers will go ahead and put that in baby bottles.
I did not know that. Had no clue about that. Only thing we
Yeah,
ever
they did a news story, and
serious.
a child had passed away because of it.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
That is, man, I tell you, it's the world we live in, man. But again, it goes back to you. It goes back to the original point you're making about the video. It's sex, sex, sex. I mean, if we as a society use sex correctly, we could be okay. But again, you're always going to have those folks that don't care about themselves or other people. Because even when you have a child, it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Right.
So if you got a bunch of girls in one area, let's say here in Edge Hill, that's having kids, you put a lot of strain on that community because now they got to be fed, they got to be cold, they got to be educated, they got to be protected, you know. So then you wonder why everything is going up. Well, you got to have more resources for all these kids that you bring into this neighborhood.
Right. And that's why I say, it is a drug because it's one of them drugs that have an effect on you years down the line.
Yeah,
Years. You have it, especially if you're using sex recklessly,
yeah,
that can have an effect on you years down the line.
yeah.
And people young, man, like a lot of us don't come from two-parent homes. At
Nope.
least I know I didn't even
I did.
understand that. But it do have an everlasting effect. You be out here, man, reckless with sex, and it not only has an effect on you,
Hmm.
not just physically and mentally, but it has an effect on your kid. You
Yes.
go out here and have sex and intercourse with somebody and you get pregnant with them or you get them pregnant, and then they don't want to do their part. That affects your child. You can sit there all day and say, "Well, I'm just raising by myself." Well, that's fine and dandy to you, but the kid, then think about the effect that it has on them. Not having that other parent around, that's part of their history is gone. They're only getting half of their history. They're not even getting both halves.
That's right. But that's something people don't think about when they laying down in their bed, you know.
Right.
That's last thing on their mind, I believe so.
You know, and it even you know, and all for a short time of satisfaction, a small time of satisfaction can leave a lifelong pain.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. And even with protection, I've known people that has had lifetimes of pain. I mean, I've
Oh
known
yeah,
folks claim that they use protection all the time, and things happen.
you should. And you think about the stories. Who was that? That it was. I don't know if it was a true story, but they was talking about. Was it Drake that they said that after he had intercourse, he put hot sauce in the dang condom? Do you remember hearing that story?
No, no, but why would you
because
put house in the condom?
because men would throw their condom into the trash, and then women will go in the trash, take the condom, pour it in themselves because they know when they're ovulating, and then they turn around and 8 9 months pregnant. Ring. Hey, how's it going? I ain't talked to you in a while. Yeah, it's been a while. What's going on? Yeah, I was gonna ask you that same thing. Well, you gonna be a daddy. What? What?
I
I
gotta
thought I
say,
wore a condom.
I know folks that do that. And I know a girl who would, when she got done, take the condom off her partner, right? Go in the bathroom with that turkey baster. So PSA, if you go into a girl's bathroom and there's a turkey baster or anything that looks like one,
Yeah.
take that condom off yourself. And she will
Hey,
suck it up out of there, and then suck it up out of there, and then squeeze it back in, where. And yeah, so I've heard that before. I have before.
that is
But
nuts, man.
but if he puts hot sauce in it, most people are gonna try to, squeeze hot sauce up in themselves. I get that part. Gotcha.
Yeah, and you know what? And if he did that, if that story true, he need to go up into the Male Hall of Fame. There need to be a plaque and a statue with this man. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
and and they need to have him hold like a little syringe with hot sauce in it and a little condom, baby. So men kind of like, man, that's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is. It's really crazy. And and I got a friend now. I asked her because her partner is another woman, and I asked her, I said, "Well, how did you get pregnant?" She said, "A turkey baster." I said, "Oh, okay, gotcha." So, however it was,
She
you
told
know,
you it was a
yeah,
damn.
yeah, she told me that. I don't know if she was joking or not, but I was just trying to figure out how did she end up with a child because her partner is another woman. So I was just like, but that's what she said. So I was like, oh, okay, and then I just laughed and walked on. But yeah, guys, if these women are profiling y'all, and if they think that you have some stability, they will open up that cash register between their legs. And so you just have to be thankful because a lot of folks who come out of my neighborhood, they always want the other thing you talked about, drugs, right? So
Right.
this is about how sex is addictive. Well, what about the variable of adding drugs? Women have been raped because they have passed out, not knowing what happened. Men have been raped because they passed out, not know what happened. Both of them doing Xanaxes and sleeping with each other and not know what happened. So at the end of the day, do you have to be? Well, let me ask you this question: Is sex better when you waste it?
Man, no, not to me.
Okay,
No,
yeah,
you are.
yeah.
Because anything that puts you in a position to make decisions that you could regret later down the line,
Mm-hmm.
nothing good about that. You
Right,
understand what I'm saying?
right.
And I think that a lot of these females don't require guys to use protection. There are females that maybe the first few times they'll tell a guy, hey, I need you to wear some sort of protection. But then, man, maybe the fifth or sixth, seventh experience, sexual encounter, where they get comfortable, well,
Mm-hmm.
there's no need to wear it anymore. Or I'm on birth control. Well, yeah, birth control may help as far as like, and you getting pregnant, but
Mm-hmm.
then what about the STD portion of it? Because like
Okay.
we just said, 20 million new cases of STDs reported annually. That scares me right there, man. That's enough to make me put on two condoms and some lamb skin.
You're absolutely correct. So there's three things that come out of sex, right? That can hurt you. There's kids, there's STDs, and then there's feelings. Because even if you don't have kids, even if you don't get the STD, if you sit here sleeping with these girls talking about, oh, I love you, you the only one, and then they find out, see, then that's when they egg in your car, throwing bricks at your window, slashing your tires. So that feelings part, you know, you
You
got
just
to be
gave,
careful of that too.
you just brought up a great point that I didn't even mention. Sex make people do the craziest things, man.
Yes.
I mean, I seen a girl hanging off a car, and I'm like, dang,
Mhm.
what did he do to you to make you hang on the hood of a car, going about 50 miles per hour down the road trying to hang off? What,
Mhm.
man? Man, that's crazy.
That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Oh yeah, I mean,
Is that ain't love?
one girl had talked me into. I thought I was just taking her to a friend's house. We pull up next to this car. I never even seen her pull this knife out, and she's squatting down under this car. And I'm thinking, what is she doing? I ain't paying no attention. This knife. I get out the car and look at me. She got a knife like this long, trying to bust this man's tires, yelling, I know you in there with that. Y'all got, I was like, girl, if you get your in the car, I'm about to leave you. Do you see what I'm saying? You didn't talk me into something I knew nothing about. But yeah, she didn't
Man,
knew he was in the house, knew that was his car. I didn't know none of it. She just asked if she get a ride over a friend's house. She said, park right here. She get out the passenger side, walk over, reach into a little purse or whatever, and she's bending down. I'm looking up. Yep, I'm like, but about 5, 6 minutes later, I'm like, why is she still down? I think she didn't drop something. I get out the car, walk around, man. She's trying to bust that man's tire with one of them knives. That man, whoo, it was a big knife.
man, but you
Crocodile
know
Dundee
what?
knives. Crocodile Dundee knives.
Man, and that's the thing too, because when people sleep with somebody, they don't understand. You might be sleeping with that one person, but if that one person sleeping with four other people, guess
Mhm.
what? You're sleeping with five people. You're not sleeping with four people. You're sleeping with five people.
That's right. That is absolutely correct. But again, it just goes back to it, man. Some people just don't care. I always wonder why some men are slaves to their penises. I never understood that. You need it so bad that you don't care where you get it from. I'm missing something here.
Yeah, there's a YouTuber, I forget his name offhand, but he says this term. A lot of guys don't have dick discipline. They don't. You know what I'm saying? Like I know dudes that sleep with something, and I'll be like, man, she don't even look like she wash up, bro.
Thank you. These women be in these tight clothes. I mean, clothes so tight that I can see the muscles in their butt cheeks.
Like,
But they're not taking showers.
right,
And
right,
they
and you know they not because you know if they a certain size and you know their arms is not long and you it look like they can't reach back there, you know it's not being wiped properly. I don't care what y'all say. You know what I'm saying? Like, dudes, y'all know if she stank through her jeans, that's your sign. I know somebody that was about to have an entanglement with a female, and
Mhm.
she smelled so bad, she made him go limp. That's
Are
bad.
you serious?
You know you
Man,
smell bad when you smell like the fish smell is so strong that
right?
it be like this, and then it just it go limp. You know,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. And that's sad because if you take a girl that claims that she can have sex 5 times a day, you ain't taking baths 5 times a day. You ain't showering 5 times a day. So you
Right.
taking these horse baths and doing all this stuff. So you got to be careful. And some of these girls might be coming up with yeast infection because they wearing their panties so tight, wearing the pants so tight. Like I'm pretty sure your private area needs just a little air, to breathe just a little bit, right?
Right. And that goes for us too. You
Huh?
you think about it. You think about it. Like, man, there's females that lay down with dudes that don't shave down there at all. Here you got, man, you know what I'm saying, bubble gum and lint traps down there, man. And you know, the female don't care, you know. You know, she get up first thing in the morning, knowing you was at work all night, didn't even jump in the shower, just jumped in bed. And the first thing, y'all know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
There's some females that lay down with some trifling dudes and then turn around and mess with another dude. And I got stories, man. I know we ain't got long, but I got some stories to tell y'all that I know it's a drug, and man, we gotta all get it. Well, not we. So I'm good. I know Sky probably good too. Some of y'all gotta get it in order, man, because sex, like drugs, will get y'all in just as amount of trouble as the other. So if y'all think the drugs, sex the same way. And the worst part about sex is that psychiatrists don't even recognize it as they don't diagnose it as anything.
Right.
It's not labeled anything. It's more looked at like, oh, this something that man they're dealing with on a personal level. It's not
Mm-hmm.
medically labeled,
Right.
and which is scary. Because you think about it, man, all the people that probably died from it, all the people, man, all the damage that it leaves behind, and you know, I'm surprised there's not even more sexual therapists out there,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the hood. How do we have a liquor store on every corner, right? And
Right.
we got you even think about it. We even got like abortion clinics on every corner, but not
Mm-hmm.
sex. Name me somewhere, me and you on here. No, name me a sexual therapist you may know. Somebody right now, if you needed to call one, you could call.
None. I don't know any personally.
Me neither.
And I don't know nobody who knows somebody that knows that. Like I don't know that. Because when people talk about sex, it's so taboo. So even if somebody did know a sex therapist, they wouldn't just be bringing it up in general conversation. So but yeah, I don't know.
You think about it. Man, we know where abortion clinics are.
Yeah, we do.
Alcohol Anonymous. We know how to get in touch with Alcohol Anonymous. There's
Mm-hmm.
a suicide hotline. If
Yep.
we need that, we know it. There's, if you on drugs, we know some centers you can go into,
Yeah.
right?
If you got a gambling problem, they got places for that. You're right about that.
But none of us know any sex therapists. And think about how much damage that sex has done. Because to some capacity, sex has done damage to all of us in some capacity. Rather
Right.
we, even if we see it or we don't see it. But you don't see no therapist. Nobody, like, you literally got to Google and search and get your Rolodex to even see, you know.
They on page 10 of Google. Yeah. They ain't gonna have the little thumbnail on the side. They on page 10 through 20 on Google. You're right. Mm-hmm.
We even know, like centers, man. Like if you catch a STD, you know what I'm
Please.
saying, and you need to go down to the health center to get condoms because I don't know if they still give them away for free, but I know
I
at
don't
one
think
point, do they?
I know Lens. Do you know what Lens is in Nashville?
Yeah,
Lens.
I know what Lynx is.
Oh, they used to give them away the different colored ones, the solid ones, and they used to have this room where it was a dark glass, and we knew anybody in that room was probably positive. That's where you went to get tested, and that's where you stayed if the test came back positive for HIV.
So that's the crazy part. They can't even have a therapist in the schools because man, the teachers, a lot of them are messing with the kids. So there needs to be, I think, in the primary healthcare package, kids need to go see. Even when they go see the doctor, they need to also be able to have access to a sexual therapist also. Kids and adults. Like I'm shocked that there's not more in, that we don't know of more as far as like having access to them.
Right. But again, it goes back to okay. So if we want access to them, they have to be honest, right? So you
Right.
know how women will, let's say she's 13, she goes to the doctor, and the doctor asks her in front of her mama, "Have you started having sex?" Usually they can check to see, but if you don't want to go go that route, you'll ask, do you think she's going to be honest and say, yes, I have, or I've been thinking about sex? If girls at a young age are honest about it, then you know where you can take them to get answers and help. You see what I'm saying? But nowadays, people are not, they're not, you know, you don't find out till she come home at 16 and her belly stuck out, you know?
And I think that's the reason why they don't, because the parent there. And I think that they need to change it to where when they go see a therapist, that should be between that kid and that therapist. Now, if there's an issue that comes about in the situation that is concerning enough to involve the parent, like molestation taking place or rape, you know, or something like that, sexual assault, then I think the parent should have the right to be involved. But just a typical conversation, like when they go see the doctor, I don't think that the parent should have access to the full conversation.
Correct.
Because if they do, you're right. Out of fear, that kid is going to omit a lot of information that is of importance.
Mm-hmm. That is absolutely true. So I feel like, if I was a councilman or a politician, in a child's life, there's two different, you grow up by nature or by nurture, right? Nature is the streets, nurture is the home, but also nurture is the school. You're being taught at a young age from two different places, what's going on in your house and what's going on in these public schools. So if we know that sex is having a negative impact on our young females, then why can't we get some teachers and some principals and some counselors and some parents together to figure out what can we do? Because they're going to have it. It's just like when God put you on this earth, he gave you a penis vagina. So it's going to happen. And some of these schools now, they took out sex education because they just felt like it was demonic to be teaching kids about sex. Okay. I don't think it is. I think when they get to that age where they need to start asking questions, and you as a parent is not comfortable having those conversations, you should be able to send them to somebody who's qualified to talk to your child and educate your child and do it like that. Even if it's like after school program.
And I think, in these schools, I don't think they should be teaching these kids necessarily all the way in full detail. I think it should be the basics. But it shouldn't be like when you get these books and they're actually a story telling exactly how to do it. I don't think that needs to be in schools. But they do need to have a course, and I think this should be in high school on the effects. Like the information that I had to go look up, and it's a lot of it I ain't even going to get to because, we're coming to a close, but, man, there needs to be some kind of high school course where it kind of talks about how it affects people's lives going forward.
Correct.
Not necessarily teaching them how to, because I think that's the issue. A lot of these teachers in the school systems want to teach children how to, and they want to go a little bit too far with gender and all the other stuff. That's a little bit too much. You need to let kids figure that stuff out on their own. But the basics of it and the consequence of it definitely need to be taught in school.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a subject that we could talk about on the show one day is this transgender movement. Because you were saying about, kids being molested. Well, if you take a young boy who's dressing like a young girl and he's getting molested by his uncle, do psychology wise, do we talk to him as the young girl that he wants to be, or do we talk to him as the little boy he was born to be?
Man, you know what? We're definitely going to we may even have that next week. We may even have that next week.
Because it still kind of makes you wonder, because, you can go either way. They're still trying to figure out what makes people homosexual, what makes men attracted to men, women attracted to women. They're still trying to figure out if there's something going on in the mind where you're born a boy or a girl and you want to be the opposite sex. So maybe that's a topic that some people might want to hear about one day, down the line. But it's just a subdivision of what we're talking about, the sex and the drugs and the addiction and things like that.
I couldn't agree more, man. Man, Sky, I hope you have a great rest of the week. Brother, it has been
You, my
awesome.
friend.
This time goes by so quick. It don't even feel like we sat here for an hour, man.
No, but you know what? I'm glad that we did. I really do, and I'm glad that me and you and whoever else that wants to come on the show that we can have these conversations. Me, you, Robbie, me, you, whoever. We can agree or disagree, but our job is to educate on no matter what side of the fence you're on. We just want to hear your opinion and we want to be educated. Because even if I don't agree with you, I'm gonna still learn something.
And of course, I think
Yeah,
most of the things I've learned is from things I didn't agree with, and I had to
me
sit back
too.
and analyze and think about it. And actually, I think that's how we evolve or revolve as people.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. I see it the same way.
Yep. And next week, you guys, man, we're going to have another person that joins us, the gentleman by the name of Kobe Hampton. So shout out to Kobe, man. We look forward to you
Okay.
joining us next weekend. And man, I hope this week go by quick, man.
Hey, Tuesdays is a great day. Well, any day is a great day, but Tuesday is a great day, because people get to come on here and listen to us and the guests that you bring on. And because, Tuesday, what do most people do on Tuesday? It's a boring day for most people. But me and you, we're going to make Tuesdays exciting.
Man, and y'all thought Taco Tuesdays was exciting. Oh man,
That's at night. That's at night. Taco Tuesday's night. But Tuesday during the day, me and
we gonna
Damon,
get,
we're going to make it exciting for you Tuesdays during the day.
and see y'all can watch our even if y'all don't catch us during the live show. When
Right?
y'all going to have them tacos in the evening, watch us during Taco Tuesday. You know,
Replay is a mud. You're right about that.
you get that
Replay.
entertainment for your mind, and then you got that entertainment for your belly.
That's right. That is absolutely correct. And that's what we're here to do.
Man, thank
Educate.
you guys for tuning in, man. Leave comments below, man. Let us know what y'all think of the topic that we talked about today. And we will see y'all next week, same time, man, every Tuesday. That is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 12 Central Standard Time. We are
Amen.
out. Peace.
Peace.
Y'all have a good rest of the week.